What's up out there, YouTube? Double D here with Tournage Dubois. Welcome back. I got a care package in the mail. I had a local Kansas turner named Jon Bradshaw reach out to me. Wanted to send me a little care package and get me some stuff to turn. So we're going to unbox this, take a look and see what's in there, see what we can get turned. So first of all, big shout out. Thank you, Jon, for sending this over to me. And let's see what we got. See what we got in the box. So, wow, this is absolutely loaded. So, looks like we've got ourselves a little hybrid piece. Some cool pin blanks with some really nice spalting bug trails, some red cedar ones. Little bull blanks. This is awesome. Thank you, thank you. Some walnut looks like. Ooh, a nice little crotch piece. Here's a piece of apple. So this is cool. A little bit of interesting graining through that. That's going to be pretty awesome. What else have we got? More little cool blanks. Ooh, some flaming box elder. That's going to be beautiful. No evidence of ring shake or anything in that, so that's cool. More pin blanks. Here's a little deeper piece. Ooh, a little bit of choya in that one with some resin. That'll be really nice looking. Some pine cones in resin. More pine cones in resin. Some beautiful, beautiful pieces here. I'm super excited about doing some of these. I mean, I'm excited about doing all of them. Don't get me wrong by that, but this is absolutely awesome. Ooh, here's some Russian olive. That is beautiful as well. We could get a really nice looking live edge bowl out of that one. Wow, that is just beautiful. Awesome. I think I'm actually going to turn this Russian olive piece. So that is cool. Jon, thank you very, very much. This is amazing. I'm super excited to see what all comes of it. So huge thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And let's get something turned. right, so we have that cut and shaped. We do have some gapping here with the bark, so I do need to glue that down. So in order for me to glue it without it staining the wood, of course, we want to do our sanding sealer. So we're going to put our sanding sealer on, let that dry. Then we'll do some thin CA along the bark. Anywhere there's some gapping, we'll do some different, maybe some brown CA or something like that, but we will get that going. So to make it easier to get it in and out of the, for the sanding sealer, I've got this little glass jar with a sealing lid, and that keeps it in here, but is easier to access rather than just unscrewing the lid all the time. We will also be looking for any cracks we might see. They're all going to be super tiny, but if we see any of those, we will touch those up with the CA glue as well, just to make sure they don't get any worse. They shouldn't. This is a super, super dry piece of wood. After we glue it up, we will cut this back just a little tiny bit. So there will be a little bit more cutting, but then we'll get to sanding and start hollowing it out. All right, so that has dried up pretty good. So we're back with our thin Starbond. So we're gonna go along the bark. Any slight cracking or checking that we see here on the end grain, we'll get the inclusion spots. There's a little bit of gapping here, so we'll do that with some thicker CA glue just to steady that up. Probably do some thin in there also, but we'll get that going. That little bit of CA glue is going to be just enough to hold that bark in place while we turn it and increase the opportunity to save that live edge. The other secret, of course, is when you're turning a live edge piece to make sure that you are cutting into the bark, so from the top down into the tree or into the wood, rather than cut the other direction where it can catch and pull off. So that's our thin. Now we're going to use a little bit of the Starbond Brown Medium for these gapped areas. Let that fill in a little bit and let that help hold. All right, we'll give that a little bit of time to cure up. Then we will come back and get that cut back. Alright, so that got a super clean cut, so I'm going to start sanding that at 120 grit. We'll get that sanded up, and then we will go from there. Have to see if the bark holds. I mean, obviously there's a pretty good sized gap right in here. Other than that, it seems to be pretty good. Doesn't seem to be wanting to come off too easily. So let's get this sanded. All right, we have that sanded up to 320 grit. Now we're going to use our denatured alcohol, clean this up, pop that grain, then we'll hit it with the 400 grit sandpaper. This will also, of course, give us a look at what the wood should look like when all is said and done. So I will tell you that the graining on this is just beautiful. Really liking that grain. It's obviously an open grain wood, because you can see how dark those rings become as I go in, as it absorbs that wood or that alcohol. Dries off really quickly, as you can see, and so it's pretty open grain, similar to ash, but really liking how that looks. So after that denatured alcohol, there is a little bit of texture feel to it now, as I expect, because like I said, it does stand that grain up just a little bit. So now we'll knock it back with the 400 grit, and that will be absolutely beautiful. Alright, we're gonna get that sanded and get it going. Wings will take, it'll take a little bit of time because I have a little bit of a sharper corner in there because I wanted the inside to mimic the outside. So it'll take a little bit of time to sand. I won't bore you with all of it, but we'll get it going. Alright, we have that once again sanded up to 320 grit. So now we'll clean up the inside here, pop that grain, get the dust out, hit it with our 400 grit, and then we'll get on to our finish. So I'm actually not going to use any abrasive paste. I don't like necessarily using that with the live edge, just because it's harder to clean up. But I think I'm going to use Odie's oil on this as a finish, because it's pretty easy to put on, and I learned a little trick I'm going to try. Putting that on with a little bit of a Scotch-Brite pad instead of a rag like I did last time. And from what I have been told, that makes it easier to apply sparingly and have it come out looking great. So we'll give that a minute to dry, and then we'll sand that with 400 grit, and then we'll just get our finish put on it. And as indicated, we're going to use Odie's oil. Got a little bit of the white Scotch-Brite pad. And that's what I'm going to use, so that way it'll make it a little bit better to use sparingly, as they say. So I'm going to use about that much, and I'm going to get the entire piece done with that. So just start putting it on and use this to work it around and in. Somebody, when I did my other piece that I used this, somebody commented to do it this way with this Scotch-Brite pad, and that way you wouldn't overdo it. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that project where we took that nice piece of Russian olive that Jon sent over to us and turned the live edge bowl. So here is the finished piece. Left a little bit of the inclusion down on the base. Got some inclusion there on the side. You can actually see it better on the inside. Lighting's a little bit weird, so I apologize. But the bark all the way around, except for this one little part that ended up breaking off. Got the laser engraving on the base, finished with the Odie's oil. I will say that this is one of the best cuts that I've gotten by using the bevel, of course. I've had some that I've had really good cuts on. This is probably the best. I don't know why, it just cuts super smooth. Really happy with how this turned out. So we are approximately 7.5, 8 inches across, and at the highest point we're a little over 6 inches tall. Really happy with, like I said, really happy with how this turned out. The graining's just beautiful, and that Russian olive is a great cutting wood. So if you can get a hold of some, I recommend it. It's really, really nice. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Either way, leave your comments, feedback down below. And once again, Jon, thank you very much for the gift package. A lot will come of use of it. And always good to meet additional fellow turners, especially in the state of Kansas. At any rate, we will catch you all next time.